Alright guys, uplifting fragrances. Who needs to be uplifted? I know we've had a pretty challenging year. Things are turning around, it seems. I'm going to be vaccinated very soon. But today I thought I'd put together a video of my most uplifting fragrances. Fragrances once I put on really feel uplifted, really feel, happy. These are happy fragrances, and these are the kind of fragrances I would wear if you need some spirits lifting, if you're down and things like that. I always say if if it's winter time and you don't want to wear the dark scents, put some of these on because it's so dark outside you'd be uplifted. Anyway, 21 fragrances today and an honorable mention, and I'm leaving the honorable mention till the end of the video after number 1. So if you want to find out my most favorite uplifting fragrances, then please stay tuned. Thanks so much for tuning in. This is Sebastian with Smelling Great Fragrance Reviews. That's right, today I'm talking about uplifting fragrances. And what kind of notes do I think or consider to be uplifting? Citruses to begin with. Citruses are always very, very uplifting. If they're even sparkly and fizzy and things like that, effervescence comes to mind. Those immediately I refer to as very uplifting. There's something about citruses that when you spray it, you're just like, you just wake up, even like some of these fragrances when you're trying to wake up in the morning and you've had a long night, and just spray some of this in the air or on you and you're just going to totally wake up. And that's what I like about these fragrances that will just kind of like wake you up if you're down with all the stuff that's going on in the world. Just spray some of this stuff on and you'll be very, very happy. Anyway, I've got 21 fragrances and an honorable mention at the very end of the video. It's a brand new one that I've been anticipating. I'm going to talk about it for the first time here. But before I get to the fragrances, if this is your first time tuning into the channel and you still haven't subscribed, please do click the subscribe button below and also click the bell so that you'll be notified for future videos and giveaways. And one more thing before I start on the fragrances, just wanted to also let you know, if you haven't seen one of my t-shirts, this one focuses on Neroli. It's Holy Neroli. This one's really fun and it features one of my favorite notes, and of course we're going to see Neroli appear a lot in these fragrances that I'm going to speak to you about today. Neroli, Orange Blossom, Petitgrain, all come from the orange tree. Neroli is a type of distillation process, extraction process from the orange blossom. There's orange blossom, which is the same flower, and neroli, which is also the same flower, but they're extracted differently. But anyway, if you're curious to discover this t-shirt, I have a link in the info box, and I am doing a promotion right now for all my t-shirts. All you do is type in channel and you can save 10% off on any t-shirts or merchandise from Teespring. Okay, so let's get started. We're going to start off with number 1, going to the house of MAISON Margiela. It's Lemon Trees, or Under the Lemon Trees. So Under the Lemon Trees is kind of a cozy lemony fragrance, but even though it's called Under the Lemon Trees, they're not really using lemons in the nose. They're using lime. Lime with green tea, Petitgrain, Cardamom, mate, Coriander, Musk, and Cedar. And whenever I see tea in fragrances, then they have this kind of a coziness about them, calming effect about them. But definitely the citruses here of lime is very uplifting. It's effervescent, and it's a burst of fresh, like really, really wakes your senses up. And that's the kind of thing I like for if I want to wake up or if I want my spirits lifted and things like that. Just very, very uplifting kind of a smell. Very happy. So Under the Lemon Trees at number 21 from the house of MAISON Margiela. This next one is very, very fun and uplifting. Citruses with marine notes, and you're going to find a few here with marine notes, but I like it when they contrast it with still the sparkling citruses, and this one definitely does. This is AZUR Riviera from the house of BERDOUES, or MAISON BERDOUES, and this one has marine notes with orange blossom. Again, orange blossom and neroli are the same flower. The orange blossom is just the way it's extracted and created into the oils that they use in perfumes. So jasmine and algae comes in as well, and you know what I really like about this one, I almost feel like there is some kind of a citrus juice in there as well, like bergamot definitely could be in here. But it's beautiful contrast of the marine notes, breezy kind of sea notes with orange blossom, jasmine, and algae. It's not overly fishy, and when aquatic or marine fragrances go fishy, it's something that I can't tolerate. This one is actually a nice balance of the marine notes with the orange blossom citruses. So that's AZUR Riviera from the house of Maison Berdoux. Next up at number 19, it's Orange Blossom from the house of Jo Malone. Very, very beautiful citrus floral fragrance, very, very uplifting, very, very happy. You know, it's also spring, but these are going to be perfect for spring and summer as well. But this one has lots of clementine flower, orange blossom, water lily, white lilac, orris, woods, and vetiver. But a beautiful, very, very realistic smell of an orange grove when it's in full bloom in the springtime. You know, when it's in full bloom and it's warm outside, it'll heat up the flowers and you can totally smell the fragrance coming off of the trees. And that's what this one smells like. So it's very, 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 very uplifting, happy, and just something that I really enjoy smelling. And whenever I need something to wake up my senses, and these are the kind of fragrances I like. Orange Blossom, Neroli, the Petitgrain, and the orange fruit itself are just some of my favorite smells ever. And here they really, really do a great job with you know, creating a fragrance that smells very, very authentic. So that's Jo Malone's Orange Blossom. If you don't know it, do check it out. This next one is a house that I haven't spoken much about. This is LUCIEN FERRERO, Maison LUCIEN FERRERO, and this is Syringa Blanc. Beautiful. Spring flowers and citruses come alive with lots of lily of the valley here, lily of the valley leaves. There's Petitgrain, the orange tree leaves, pink grapefruit, neroli, tangerine blossom, syringa flower, lilacs, and oranges. It's basically like a spring floral garden with citruses come alive. It's a big bouquet just bursting out, and it's very, very like wake your senses kind of a fragrance. So I feel like it really is a totally an uplifting experience when you smell this. It might lean a little feminine, but all of these fragrances are unisex, except for one or two might be masculine targeted, but women can totally pull them off. But this one, boy, it's such a great scent. Really, really authentic. It has a very, very green smell to it because, of course, the lily of the valley and the lily of the valley leaves give off a very green experience, but in the end it's extremely uplifting. So that's Syringa Blanc from the house of LUCIEN FERRERO. This next one's going to the house of SHAY Blue, and this is Blood Oranges. So I was contemplating on adding this one on the list, and I'm also trying to make sure there's no duplicate brands on the list. So I wanted to cover as many brands as possible. I have so many brands to pull from, so that's why I'm trying to make sure I don't pull, like I wanted to pull 2 Frederic Malls, I only pulled 1, and a few others as well. But Blood Oranges I almost left off, but I kept coming back to it. Even though it's got some deep rich notes under there, the initial blast of the orange, the blood orange, is just very, very sparkly and effervescent. And something about that is just really happy, really, really uplifting, really, really like if you're down and kind of like feeling, you know, sick or whatever, just smell some of this stuff and it'll totally wake you up. Even though, as I said, it has the deep, dark, rich notes in there. But I think what's really driving the fragrance is the main star of the fragrance, the blood orange. So it's got lots of blood orange with leather, woods, musk, and amber. But a great, very, very uplifting experience. That smell of the blood orange is really, really fantastic. Smells really, really authentic, juicy, citrusy, warm, and ambery at the same time. But a top-notch fragrance. And it's from a house, SHAY Blue, that you know, has great fragrances, and these blue bottles are under $100 too. So if you are looking for inexpensive fragrances, definitely these are ones that you should check out. I think they have a more expensive collection, which I've never looked into, but the blue bottles seem to be under 100, which, you know, typical pricing for designer fragrances as well. So Blood Oranges from the house of SHAY Blue, a great scent at number 17. I was trying to make sure that this list had a lot of variety, but in the end it did end up being more of a citrus list because those are the types of smells that I feel are the most uplifting, but there are a few, you know, floral ones thrown in. And this one I actually kept coming back to as well. This is from the house of ACQUA di Parma, and this is Fico de Amalfi. And even though it's about figs, there's loads of citruses here, and it smells really beautifully uplifting. Figs, grapefruit, bergamot, citron, so lots of citruses. Even lemons come in as well. Then you also have some of the fig tree in here, jasmine, pink pepper, and cedar. So it's a fruity, citrus, floral kind of an experience that's quite beautiful to wear. Really, really enjoy this one. And you know, it's ACQUA di Parma's Blue Mediterraneo collection. They're not overly long lasting. You can overspray. They're not going to be, you know, intrusive to people. They're very, very pleasant smells. Very natural smelling, and I really, really love this fig. This is probably my second fig fragrance that I ever bought. First one was Jo Malone. No, I don't think so. Going back to the 90s, I wore Dune, but Dune pour Homme. But going outside of the designers, Jo Malone and then Fico de Amalfi from the house of ACQUA di Parma. But a great, great scent. It's very, very uplifting. Perfect for spring and summer as well because it's so, so fresh. Sweet, fruity, and fresh and floral. So that's Fico de Amalfi from the house of ACQUA di Parma. Now, I was contemplating with this one as well if I wanted to add it. This is a male targeted release, but it's just a beautifully uplifting and pleasant smell. Really, really lovely, fruity, focusing on green apples. It's Greenly from the house of Parfums de Marly. This is just pure heaven. I just love the way it smells. It's like authentic, juicy, crisp green apples come alive, basically. And once again, you know, it has citrus notes in here. It has Petitgrain, the green leaves, the bitter green leaves of the orange tree. It also has mandarin orange. It has bergamot in there as well. So it's beautiful. It's really, really great fragrance. It has some deep, darker notes in the base as well, like musk, and then of course some cashmerean it's a synthetic note. But the overall composition of the fragrance I really, really enjoy, and I think it smells great and very, very uplifting. So Greenly from the house of Parfums de Marly, a great scent if you don't know it. At number 14, going to the house of Atelier des Azurs, it's Pomelo Riviera. And Pomelo Riviera is another aquatic sort of a mix of citruses. Whereas first we had the Maison BERDOUES AZUR Riviera, now we have Pomelo Riviera. So the Riviera, which is basically the French Riviera of, you know, where the sea meets land kind of a thing. And here I think they've captured this particular style of fragrance with the aquatic notes and then of course the citruses. But this one features lots of grapefruit, pomelo, grapefruit, jasmine, orange blossoms, sea salt, bergamot, rose, and cedar. Beautiful scent, really, really cozy. There's a beachy vibe under there. It gets aquatic a little bit, but not overly fishy, if at all fishy, but you experience some saltiness, obviously, and beachiness come in, which I quite like. And I'm enjoying beachy fragrances a lot. And this one has that beachy, aquatic kind of a styling with the citruses and the florals. Pomelo Riviera from the house of Atelier des Azurs is a great fragrance. This next one's going to the house of Nichanet. It's Colonisé. And Colonisé is really uplifting, you know, lots of bergamot here. Of course, it also has some tea, and of course, I always say tea is very cozy in fragrances. So is it a contrast? Is it like the uplifting notes with a tea that's cozy, like you're gonna wake up and then kind of like, you know, relax again? I don't think so. I always think that when I'm reading those kind of notes, but no, I think the notes combined together just really give you a fresh blast of energetic, uplifting citruses. Lots of bergamot tea with the floral touches of jasmine, the more citruses of grapefruit, and then you've got the neroli. Neroli is orange blossom, basically. Lily of the valley, vetiver, lemon, musk. It's beautiful, very, very juicy, citrusy experience, and just spray some on and you'll be like ready to go for your day out and about. Either way, Colonisé is a great wake me up kind of a wake up your senses kind of fragrance. That's from the house of Nichanet. And then next we go into the house of Atelier Cologne, and this is Clementine, California. This is one of my favorite fragrances from this house. I really, really love it. Not because I live in California, but I think it just smells really great. It's a very happy fragrance, very sparkly, very effervescent, and very uplifting. Loads of clementines, mandarin orange, basil, so we've got green aromatic touches. Juniper with also the spicy, woody aromatic touches. Cypress, woody green. Vetiver, grassy, earthy. Sandalwood, creamy. So it's a really, really creamy woody is what I should say. But really a great scent. I think the combination of the notes works great. And the fragrances that are in this list, you can liberally spray these things and they're not going to turn people off, you know, because they're very, very pleasant fragrances and they really will wake up your senses. So if you're down, if it's dark out, if it's gloomy, if you're depressed, things like that, spray some of this stuff on and it's really going to uplift you, you know, may wake up your senses and things like that. So that's Atelier Cologne and it's Clementine, California. All right, going to the house of Byredo, it's Sundazed, and Sundazed is Byredo's fresh, sparkly, effervescent, uplifting, juicy citrus experience with lots of mandarin orange, neroli, lemon, jasmine, white musk, and they throw in a curveball here, a fun curveball. They add cotton candy to give kind of like a kiddish, kind of a cute, not necessarily girly, but playful kind of an experience with that cotton candy note. But it's all citruses, it's all citrus flowers with also additional flowers of jasmine and that white musk. But a very, very uplifting experience. Sometimes can be quirky and fun as well, thinking about that cotton candy note, because there is some sweet touches in there. But a beautiful fragrance, a great scent. And I think since this came out after the fragrance that Frederic Malle did called Salgos, where they added some bubblegum in the notes, I think this is kind of inspired, kind of they're throwing in that kind of a curveball note to kind of give it a playful vibe. But either way, it's a great uplifting fragrance, perfect to wear in the spring and summer as well. That's Sundazed at number 11 from the house of Byredo. This fragrance I'm going to talk to you about is from the house of Rosendo Matu. It's number 1 for a beautifully fresh bergamot fragrance. Lots of bergamot here, but you know, we also have lots of bitter orange blossom, bergamot of course, lime, there's tea leaf, neroli, mandarin, there's some spices of cardamom, white musk once again with this fragrance, and that green floral touch of the lily of the valley. A beautiful fragrance, really, really fresh, refreshing, energizing, uplifting, all of that comes to mind. And it's a perfect fragrance to wear when it's hot outside. The refreshing qualities, the uplifting qualities of this fragrance is perfect. All of these fragrances are perfect. And another thing I forgot to mention, when it's really warm outside, you get really tired. The heat really exhausts. A blast of these kind of fragrances will really wake you up, you know? Very, very uplifting experiences. Either way, number 1 from the house of Rosendo Matu is at number 10. It's a great, great scent. Now going to the house of Costume National, and this is Jay. Once again, we've got lots of citruses and citrus flowers here. Mandarin orange, neroli, lime. We've got cherry blossom in here. Orange blossom, rice, cashmere wood, and moss, oak moss. So the fragrance here is very, very clean and soapy. It's one of the cleanest, soapiest citrus fragrances that I've ever experienced. Almost like when I spray some on my hand, I feel like I've washed my hands. So it's very, very clean acting. But I really, really love it. It's created by Fanny Ball, who also created the next fragrance I'm going to talk to you about. Similar idea, different directions, but beautiful, you know, outcomes of these fragrances. If you don't know Jay from Costume National, you should check it out. It's a great, great, very, very clean, uplifting, sparkling, effervescent, soapy citrus fragrance. So that's Jay from the house of Costume National. The next one I'm going to talk to you about is also created by Fanny Ball, as I said, but for Frederic Malle. It's Salgos. This one and this one, both of them are created by Fanny Ball from IFF. But this one, actually, I'd have a full review of it with Dahlia. If you haven't caught that review, go catch it. But this one throws in that bubblegum note. There's neroli, petitgrain, bergamot, violet, rosemary in here, but kind of like a candy bubblegummy kind of a little note in there. Similar kind of a quirkiness with Sundazed when they threw in the cotton candy. But fun and playful, but fresh and refreshing, citrus floral, very sparkling, effervescent, and very, very uplifting fragrance here with Salgos. I really do love this one. It's playful, you know, when they throw in that bubblegummy kind of a note in there, it goes into the playful kind of a quirky direction. But either way, a very, very uplifting experience. It's Salgos from the house of Frederic Malle. Next, going to the house of Xerjoff, it's Neo. Neo probably is one of the best bergamot fragrances, but for me, this one is actually slightly classic leaning and maybe a little bit masculine leaning as well. But overall, it's a great, great bergamot. I smelled this on people that wear it, and it smells fantastic on them, mixed with their own chemistry, you know. But Xerjoff's Neo features notes of bergamot, neroli, green notes, and I like this green notes experience here. Cardamom, pink pepper, jasmine, nutmeg, vetiver, cedar, and also amber. But those more deeper, richer notes are in the base. At the top, it's all very green, bergamot style experience. But beautiful, very, very fresh fragrance. Absolutely love the way it smells. And as I said, it does lean a little classic. It also leans a little masculine as well, I think. Personally, that's what I'm experiencing. Either way, though, at number 7, Neo from the House of Xerjoff is a great, great scent. If you don't know it, do check it out. Next, I'm going to the House of Maison Francis Kurkdjian. It's Petite Matin. Wonderful fragrance here again. Really, really cozy, sparkly, effervescent, wake me up kind of a fragrance. Very, very uplifting. Lots of lemons here. Orange blossom, musk, lavender, ambroxan, hawthorn. The lemons in here are not tart, but it's sparkling. It's overly sparkling. It's almost like lemon champagne kind of a thing. When you smell it, even out of the bottle, it sparkles, like hits your nose, kind of like tingling kind of a effect that you would get with champagne bubbles. That's the kind of experience I get with this one, but it's really, really great. And I think this was launched together with Grand Soir, and Petite Matin was the morning fragrance. Makes total sense with what he's done here. And then Grand Soir was the evening fragrance or the night fragrance. Totally. The inspiration here, he's done a great job with it, and I feel like it's one of the best uplifting fragrances, and that one is at number 6. It's Petite Matin. I'm going to the House of Le Labo. It's a Bergamot 22, my favorite bergamot fragrance. Man, this is so good. There's something in here that's just a magical experience. Really, like, almost to the point of orgasmic, you know, like you're on a roller coaster and you go down, like it's just you're gonna let go. The smell is like that, you know. It's just such a great scent. The combination of the notes, bergamot, grapefruit, vetiver, orange blossom, petitgrain, musk, cedar, outstanding. I just wish it lasted a little longer. I think it's gotten weaker since I started wearing this one, but the smell, it's all about the smell for me, and I absolutely love the smell. It's like I said, it's almost to the point of orgasmic, because when you put your nose to it, the juiciness, the sparkliness, it just really kind of like does it for me. Either way, Bergamot 22 at number 5. Now this one might be a little surprising for you guys, but this is a fragrance from the House of Guerlain, and this is Mandarin Basilic. I love this one. I discovered it in Spain, of all places. I bought a bottle immediately as soon as I smelled it in August of 2019. And I'm on my second bottle because it goes down pretty quick, and I love the way it smells. Mandarin Basilic basically is mandarin orange and basil. And you've got lots of clementine oranges here, mandarin oranges, bitter oranges, orange blossom, and then basil, green tea, ivy, and sandalwood. Realistic smell, really great smell. Uplifting, very, very sparkling and effervescent, juicy citruses with, you know, that little bit of basil running throughout it. It's not overly intense. You definitely pick up the basil. It's all about the mandarin oranges. But I'm going to let you know something about this one coming up in a little bit, but hold that thought for now. But at number 4, it's Mandarin Basilic. The next fragrance I'm going to talk to you about is from the House of L'Artisan Parfumeur, Un Air de Bretagne. This one right here. This is the 3rd aquatic citrus fragrance, but once again, I really, really love this aquatic citrus combo. Lots of bergamot here, citruses, calone, which is a note I despise, but here it does work fine. Neroli, seaweed, cypress, cedar, ambergris. But the combination is amazing. It's a beautiful, beautiful combination of citruses, blowing in the sea breeze, you know, smelling the, you know, the flowers and the actual citruses. For me, I get lots of lemons in this one. Once again, slightly sweet, maybe like Meyer lemons in combination with the bergamot. But then you're picking up that calone and seaweed, and there is a kind of a sea, almost beachy kind of a vibe running throughout it. Maybe even a little salt. But the combination is amazing. I think this has become one of my favorite L'Artisan Parfumeur fragrances. And it just really works. You know, when a fragrance really, really works, this one does. And normally, or typically, I don't really like aquatics. This one I really do. And that's at number 3. At number 2, go into the house of commodity with Nectar. Oh my God, this has become such a great fragrance for me. In love with the way it smells. It's almost like a combination of Orange Blossom from Jo Malone with lots of other juicy, bitter citruses. Nectar is all about neroli, pomelo, honeysuckle, orange blossom, tangerine, bergamot, musk, vetiver, and cedar. It's intense. It's quite long lasting for what it is. It's a citrus. It's not like all day long, but I think it does a great job. It lingers on and it smells fantastic. It's a little bitter, as I said, a little musky, some greenness in there as well. But all those juicy citruses are totally coming alive here in this fragrance, and I'm absolutely in love with it. Really, really, once again, kind of like that orgasmic experience I was telling you about with this one. When I put my nose to this one, similar thing happens almost, you know, just a very, very beautiful smell. Either way, Nectar is at number 2 from the House of Commodity. And my number 1 is from the House of Louis Vuitton. It's Afternoon Swim. Probably one of the best citruses ever that I've put my nose on. It's a very cozy experience, but also very sparkling. Once again, the champagne sparkles, fizziness is totally at play here because the citruses are very, very sparkly. Features mandarin orange, Sicilian orange, and bergamot, and the combination is great. I'm sure there's some musk in there, some light floral touches in there as well, citrus florals, and then light woods in there as well. But it's almost like you're just wearing juicy citruses, basically. When I first got this fragrance, I thought it's going to be an aquatic. Thankfully, it did not turn out to be, even though it's called Afternoon Swim. It turned out to be one of the best citruses ever. And here's the other thing. These two remind me of one another. Mandarin Basilic and Afternoon Swim, which features Mandarin Orange, does remind me of one another. Mandarin Basilic does have that green basil note in there. If you remove it, it kind of hints at this one. More on that later, but my number 1 fragrance is Afternoon Swim. I hope you enjoyed this list of uplifting fragrances. Lots of citruses, lots of citrus florals, some other florals, and a few other notes of aquatic touches. Let me know what your thoughts are on these fragrances. Do you have any of them? Do you like any of them? Or maybe you hate some of them. Let me know. Put some comments down so I can find out. Stay tuned after the outro for my honorable mention. But if you have any questions or comments, please list below. Otherwise, please like this video, please share it, follow me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and I'll be back with more videos very soon. Have a good one. Goodbye. So my honorable mention, which I'll also have a video tomorrow for it, a review, is On the Beach by Louis Vuitton. So since it's brand spanking new, I decided to do it as an honorable mention at the end of the video. So if you're curious to learn more about it, tune in tomorrow for Easter Sunday to watch and learn about this one. Thankfully, I'm really in love with this one. Unlike California Dream, which I wanted to really like. California Dream started out great, but somehow it went total sharp metallic, changed on me, like a 180-degree change, which kind of became odd and I didn't really like wearing it. But the cool thing about this one is it's all citruses once again, woods, and then there's that sand note. So you've got yuzu here, neroli, cypress, has a green woody touch, thyme, sand note, rosemary, pink pepper, cloves. So there's a lot going on with this fragrance, unlike Afternoon Swim. But with this one, it's just a very, very sparkly citruses of the yuzu, neroli, and then of course that sand note comes in and gives it a kind of a beachy vibe. I think when they call this note a sand note, which I don't know what they're doing to call it a sand note, it kind of takes on slight, you know, like very lightly reminding me of something like Beach Walk from Maison Margiela, where it's kind of like the skin experience, beachy skin, whereas here something under there, almost like sand, reminding me of, you know, maybe like suntan lotion on top of sand or something, or maybe just like just suntan lotion on its own, slightly coconutty, maybe a little salty. There's a little bit of something like that happening under here, where the citruses and the sparkliness of the citruses and the citrus flower is giving me that kind of like beachy vibe. Makes sense to call it On the Beach because you are experiencing a beachiness. It's not necessarily aquatic, more just like the beach, the smell of the beach. So it's a combination of the, you know, the beach, the marine note, with you know, like coconutty, suntan lotiony, sandy kind of an experience. But a beautiful fragrance. It's still not my favorite out of the entire California collection. Afternoon Swim is still my favorite, but this one's definitely up there. Definitely enjoyed this one much more than California Dream. In fact, this might be my number 2 or 3 in this the collection of California fragrances from Louis Vuitton. More on this one tomorrow. Stay tuned for that. But thanks so much for watching today's video. I appreciate it. Have a good one. Goodbye.